What's up, fantasy managers? Today is a good day to talk about fantasy football. Fantasy football drafts are happening all the time now. Do you know what running back age scores the most fantasy points? I did the research. I want to share it with you, so stick around for 7 seconds. So why is it so important to care about a running back's age? In dynasty football leagues, by knowing when a player is set to decline, you can look at you trading away the player while they still have value. In redraft leagues, you don't want to draft an older running back who is set to regress in the top rounds. I have information from the last 20 years of what ages running backs have their most productive seasons, their prime years. The research is from ApexFantasyLeague.com with my tweaks added. But just remember, age is just one factor. Volume and offensive line is a part of a running back's success as well. Okay, so I'm showing you an image of how many times running backs have scored at least 230 points and at what age. A good season is finishing top 12 in any position. For running back, scoring 230 points got you into the top 12. James Cook was 12th overall with 232 PPR points according to Fantasy Pros. The youngest players who accomplished top 12 seasons were at the age of 21, which were Clinton Portis, Saquon Barkley, Maurice Jones-Drew, Ezekiel Elliott, Reggie Bush, and Jonathan Taylor. This past season, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs joined the list of 8. The oldest players to accomplish the feat were 32 years old. These players are Ricky Williams, Fred Jackson, and D'Angelo Williams. The peak seasons are from ages 23 to 28, as 84% of top 12 seasons fall in this range. There is a drop-off at age 29, with just 5% of top 12 seasons have taken place at that age. Derrick Henry was the first running back since 2017 LaShawn McCoy to score over 230 points at age 29 years old. From there, just 4% of the top 12 seasons happen at age 30. Father Time has a big impact, and no running back since 2000 has scored at least 230 PPR fantasy points at the age of 33 or older. So only 3 running backs scored over 230 PPR points in both 2022 and 2023. Christian McCaffery, Derrick Henry, and Joe Mixon. So Christian McCaffery was able to score over 350 points in back-to-back seasons. That is why he's running back 1 to draft. Derrick Henry didn't reach 250 points in 2023 and scored 60 points less than what he did in 2022. But that could also be because of a poor offensive line. And then Joe Mixon scored 27 more points in 2023 and finished with 267 points, which put him at RB6. Now this image is how many times running backs have scored at least 250 PPR points and at what age. This is considered elite scoring. Scoring 250 points in a season is top 7. Kyren Williams was RB7 with 255 points. This image is 94 running backs since 2010 to score 250 or more points. The data starts at 210 because of how much the game has evolved. It shows how much younger the game has become. Running backs between 2000 and 2009 were 4 times more likely to hit elite scoring at age 29. While since 2010, only 2 running backs had elite scoring seasons at age 29. 2014, Matt Forte, and 2017, LaShawn McCoy. Both were pass-catching running backs and didn't reach 250 or 230 points the following season. The prime ages of 23 through 26 include 65% of the running backs, and 95% of elite scoring seasons take place before a running back's age of 29. There is a weird drop-off at 27 before increase again at 28. Not sure why. Maybe that's when running backs' contracts end and get traded. But the 2 most common ages to get elite scoring are 24 and 25 years old. Now, since we have the layout for what is the best age for scoring with running backs, I will discuss the top running backs for 2024 and explain if I think they're going to be in the top 12 or top 7 in scoring. These 6 running backs were in the top 12 in 2023 and now considered past their prime. Now, Derrick Henry is interesting because of his age. He will be 30 years old entering the 2024 season. He is not considered to be in his prime anymore, and only 1 running back has scored over 250 points as a 30-year-old since 2010, Adrian Peterson. Derrick Henry didn't score over 250 points as a 29-year-old either. He was close though, but that could be related to a poor offensive line, poor quarterback play, and splitting carries with Tyjae Spears. It was Henry's first time playing 15 games and not having over 300 carries in a season since 2018. But as a Raven, I believe Henry has a good chance to reach the 250-point mark. The Ravens have one of the top offensive lines, They were 5th in run block win rate, ran the ball 52% of the time, which was first in the league, and third with 4.9 yards per carry. I see another 10-plus touchdown year for Henry. If somehow he can't reach 250 points because of the wear and tear on his knees, he could still manage as a top 12 running back. Alvin Kamara scored 233 points at age 28 and will be 29 at the start of the season. I believe his elite scoring days are over. His yards per carry were 3.9 and only totaled 6 touchdowns last year. Only 2 running backs at the age of 29 has scored 250 points. But Saints have a terrible offensive line, and that doesn't appear to change in 2024. He has a good chance at 230 points because he is deadly in the passing game with 75 receptions in 2023, but his running will need to improve for a shot at elite scoring. Joe Mixon heads into the season as 28 years old, and as a 27-year-old, he put up his second highest fantasy scoring season. The difference is his touchdowns at the goal line improved and scored 3 more touchdowns in 2023 than in 2022. He totaled 11 touchdowns inside the 10. He also played every game as a bell cow last season. His running metrics are trash, but he is used in the passing game and earned 52 receptions and 3 receiving touchdowns last year. He is now a Texan who saw a productive season from Singletary, and Mixon is expected to be the bell cow again with Dameon Pierce as the RB2. Mixon's chances of scoring 250 points are slim, but he has consistently scored 230 points in 4 out of 6 seasons where he played at least 14 games. Because of his age, his running statistics are likely not to improve, but I'm drafting Mixon for guaranteed 230 points because of his volume and pass catching ability. 24 running backs at the age of 28 have scored over 230 points since 2000, and he has a possible shot at 250 points if he can convert goal line carries into touchdowns like he did last year. Christian McCaffrey is a straight up beast. Scored 356 points in 2022 and 391 in 2023. He must be the consensus #1 draft pick again. The perfect running back in the perfect system. But here's something to think about. Austin Eckler was RB2 in 2021 and RB1 in 2022. Then, in 2023, at age 28, he was clocked at the speed of light of 13 miles per hour and finished as RB21 in average points per game. Christian McCaffrey was running back 2 in 2022 and RB1 in 2023, and now he is 28 years old. Now, I don't think McCaffrey will suffer from the Eckler effect. Eckler solely relied on receptions and touchdowns, as he has never rushed for 1,000 yards in his career. His receptions and touchdowns compensated for his lack of running opportunities, while McCaffrey is well balanced and elite in the rushing yards, touchdowns, yards per carry, and receptions categories. He kills in everything that makes a #1 fantasy scorer. Raheem Mostert scored 267 points at the age of 31, the first running back ever to score 250 points as a 31-year-old. He had 18 total touchdowns, but he was on the low end of carries for running backs and managed only 25 receptions. The success came from missed tackles forced per touch. He was 7th overall, plus the goal line carries. 19 carries inside the 5 was most in the NFL, and he converted 11 into touchdowns. He is a top candidate for TD regression in 2024, but still has a chance at 230 points because of his goal line carries. Only 3 running backs at the age of 32 have scored 230 points since 2000. Saquon Barkley is now 27 years old, and only 7 running backs from 2010 have scored 250 points at the age of 27. We certainly know Barkley is capable of doing it. He has hit the 230 points 3 times and elite numbers twice. But if I had to take the over and under on 250 points from Barkley, I'd bet the over. He is one of the best running backs from the last 7 years, and now he is running behind the best offensive line. He was running back 13 with 223 points after missing 4 games and playing with the worst offensive line in the league and very, very, very poor quarterback play. I believe he still has the juice for at least 230 points. I would like to take a second, and if you guys made it this far in the video, and if you're enjoying the information, if you could go ahead and hit the subscribe, press the like, even leave a comment, whatever, any and all of it, it goes a long way for us. Even make sure to hit the little notification bell so you won't miss our future videos. We appreciate all you zoners out there. These next 6 running backs I will discuss were in the top 12 in 2023 and are either staying or entering their prime season. I'll share if I believe they have a chance to repeat a top 12 or top 7 performance again in 2024. Breece Hall scored 290 points at the age of 22. He returned from a knee injury and averaged 12 opportunities through week 4. Didn't get a full workload until week 5, where he had 25 touches. Even with a slow start, he managed almost 300 points with only one goal line carry. He was 5th in missed tackles forced per touch. There is a big jump for 23-year-olds to achieve 250 points, and he did it as a 22-year-old when it was less likely. His current ADP is 4th overall, and I'll be drafting that Hall pass all day. Hall will get 250 points again with a shot at 300 due to his big play ability and improved offensive line. Travis Etienne scored 282 points at the age of 24, the most common age to score 250 points. Only 4 games under 10 points in 2023, but after week 12, his highest rushing attempts were 14. But he had 58 receptions on the year and played every game. He is one of 3 running backs in 2023 with 1,000 rushing yards and over 50 receptions. Age 25 is still peak prime for running backs. His current ADP is 18th overall because of talks of Tank Bigsby getting involved again. Same talk as last year. The bottom line is ET phone home is still the main guy, and 250 points is possible if there isn't a regression with his 12 touchdowns. Rachaad White scored 267 points at the age of 24, the most common age to score 250 points. I don't think he will reach this mark in 2024. His running metrics are shit, and Buccaneers have the worst run block win rate in the NFL. His best trait is his receiving ability, but the Buccaneers drafted the best pass-catching running back in college to take some of the workload away from White. He also lost his offensive coordinator, Dave Canales. He goes by Dave. It might be a struggle for him to get 230 points as a 25-year-old unless the running game drastically improves. His current ADP is 37th overall. I actually love this ADP for White. Kyren Williams scored 255 points at the age of 23. Could have been RB2 on the year if he didn't miss 4 games with injuries and rested week 18. He was number 1 in snap share for running backs, and fantasy managers love Sean McVay because of that system. Williams only saw 8 men in the box, 4% of his carries, but the Rams drafted running back Blake Corum, who McVay has stated he wants to use like Kyren Williams. There's a good chance Williams won't lead in snap share percentage in the NFL like he did last year, and will lose a lot of opportunities to Corum, especially later in the season. He will be a lock for 230 points because of the McVay system, and can hit 250 points as he will be in his prime, but will need to be healthy for the entire season. His current ADP is 15th overall. I believe that is a little high for Will.i.am, but shoot, you won't catch me hating, dog. Bijan Robinson scored 248 points as a 21-year-old. He's a good runner. He was 8th in missed tackles forced per touch, and with 58 receptions, we know he can catch. But he was utilized like shit with Arthur Smith as the head coach. Even so, he was 2 points away from elite scoring. Now a branch from the Sean McVay tree is a new head coach, Raheem Mostert. And offensive coordinator Zach Robinson reported, find creative ways to get him the ball like the Niners do with Christian McCaffery. Are you effing kidding me, Cotton? This is what I want to hear from coaches, and you can bet Robinson is going to shoot off to the moon at age 22. His current ADP is 5th overall. I do have him ranked higher than Breece Hall, so 5th is good. 5th is great. 5th is awesome. Jahmyr Gibbs scored 242 points at age 21. It took until week 7 before he was unleashed by Dan Campbell. He was 10th in missed tackles forced per touch and running behind one of the top offensive lines in the league, and was involved in the passing game with 52 receptions. And he is expected to get more opportunities starting week 1. He has a good shot to reach 250 points as a 22-year-old, and only 9 other running backs have been able to do that at the age of 22 since 2010. His current ADP is 14th overall, and that could be a steal. I know some people may worry about his offseason injury, but Dan Campbell said, he's trending in the right way for week 1. James Cook scored 232 points at age 23. He barely made the top 12, and if it wasn't for OC Joe Brady taking over, he probably would have missed it. He'll be entering the 2024 season as 24 years old, and his chances of elite scoring will be increased. He's a talented runner. He averaged 4.7 yards a carry, rushed over 1,100 yards, and top 10 in rushing yards over expected per attempt. His reception total is almost top tier, but the issue is he had only 2 rushing touchdowns in 2023. The Bills signed Devin Harris, Ty Johnson, and Leonard Fournette instead of giving Cooks goal line carries. And then they drafted running back Ray Davis, who is a heavier back. You're not going to score elite fantasy numbers with 6 total touchdowns as a running back. If you think Joe Brady will give him a lot more goal line carries, then yes, James Cook will be a top 7 running back next year. His ADP is 29th overall. It's dropped during the offseason, but I'm not dealing with that headache at 29. These next 4 running backs are in their prime and have a good chance of scoring 230 points in 2024. I believe 1 or 2 of these running backs have a shot of elite scoring because of their volume and offensive line, and of course their age. Jonathan Taylor is 25 years old. This is the age running backs have scored 250 points, the second most since 2010, 17 times. Taylor has hit the elite mark 2 out of 4 times in his career. He is 1 of 3 running backs to earn 250 points in a season at the age of 21. The Colts' run game will be explosive with Shane Steichen as their head coach. And Taylor is one of the most talented and physical runners in the league. He just needs to stay healthy. His current ADP is 9th overall, and it's a little scary, but I get it. He will receive volume, and he is very talented, and just like it says on the back of the dollar bill, and Shane Steichen we trust. Kenneth Walker is 23 years old, the start of his prime. He has not reached 200 points in a season yet, but his chances of being in the top 12 increase. 23 years old is the biggest jump in productivity and efficiency for running backs, and more likely to hit 230 points. Walker was second last year in missed tackles forced per touch. That's tied with Devon Achane, but Walker had 100 more touches than Achane. Missed tackles forced correlates with the running back's explosiveness and high upside. But once again, last year he was 6th in stuffed runs. I believe new offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb will implement a more spread offense to get defenders out of the box. His current ADP is 44th overall, but there's top 12 upside here. He could be winning leagues next season. Josh Jacobs is 26, which is considered by the article as his last best chance to put up elite points of 250. I have no doubt he can at least earn 230 points this year. He has done it twice in his career already. But now he is on a young, explosive offense who can put up more points on the board than the Raiders. And because of the Packers' offseason moves, he is running behind the 5th best offensive line according to Pro Football Network. His current ADP is 39th overall, and I would go draft this Cheese Packer. Isiah Pacheco is 25 years old and definitely one of the best ages for top 12 and elite scoring. Last season, he missed 3 games and scored 213 points, which was running back 15. The issue is the Chiefs run the ball 39% of the time, which is near the bottom of the barrel of the league. But luckily, Pacheco proved he can catch the ball by increasing his receptions from 13 to 44. I believe top 12 is in the reach for Pacheco because the Chiefs didn't sign or draft a running back to be a barrier for Pacheco. And Jarrett McKinnon is gone. This is also starting to feel like a year Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to score a lot of points. But it'll be difficult to get 250 points or more with only 200 rushing attempts a year. So the stats say for the best time for a running back to reach top 7, the prime seasons, are age 23 through 26. But the peak age is 24, with only 18 players scoring over 250 points at this age since 2010. With age 25, not that far behind with 17 players. When researching for the highest upside, a running back is more likely to produce in their prime, which the research says is most likely to happen before the age of 27. Now you're all up to speed for running back prime ages for fantasy scoring. Are there running backs from this list I will not draft? Click this video here and find out what are the worst picks in every round. You might be surprised. I'll talk to you in those episodes. Deuces.